I built a $14 million business in 4 months to prove it's not luck. Yet, it was only my second business, where I did only half of the work, and it's a model that's now more than ever blowing up. So today, I'm gonna tell you guys what this model is, why it's now such a gold rush opportunity, and how you guys can start it to generate $14 million a year like I did. Let's go way, way back. It was now mid-2018, and I had been running my first business called Lions Digital. You can see that right there with my middle name, Abdul Samad. For the past 3 years, I was running Lions Digital at that time, which was it started off where I ran Google ads to put lawyers' websites at the top of search when you look up lawyers in Florida, lawyers in Miami. Pretty much a social media marketing agency, but instead of running Facebook ads, I just used Google search ads. But starting in 2015, I had now made over $3 million in total from my agency business, and the whole business was now doing about $2 million a year. But the last 3 years, just doing the same thing over and over again, it got kind of boring for me. But to save my boredom came Frank. Not his real name, by the way. We're just gonna keep it anonymous. So Frank, I met in an agency Facebook coaching program. I had joined when I started back in 2015. Since starting 3 years back, he was the man I grew with in the program. And him being super bored too, he was like, hey, why don't we do this? Where we target agency owners or people that want to be agency owners and coach them up, just like Brock did for us. And by the way, the guy who we'll just call Brock was the owner of the Facebook group, or you could say our mother of the Facebook coaching program. But even though he was the mother that raised both of us and his 7,000 other students, to his students that wanted to fly out of the bird's nest and start their own agency coaching program, or any sort of program for that matter, he had a smart and nasty trick he would pull on them. Essentially, when a student would start their own course business, even if it was a completely different niche they would target, Brock went to them saying, hey buddy, you know the 7,000 people in our group? Wouldn't it be nice if I promoted your new course to them? Except I'll be taking a very small share of 33% of your course to the sprouting agency program coaches. They thought it would be a good deal because initially they launched and hit 6 figures, but later would find out why the deal wasn't as good as it seemed. And that was exactly what Frank and I went through. Because when in late 2018, Brock gave us that same deal where Brock, Frank, and I went in 33% each. At first, Brock's promo took us to about 100K a month from scratch within just a month. We were absolutely pumped. We were like, hell yeah, I guess Brock's deal was fine after all. But then came month 2 and month 3. We actually plummeted from 100 to merely 5K a month because Brock's shiny promo was now done. And compared to our agency businesses still doing $2 million a year each, it just didn't make any sense for us to work on it. Because after the initial push he did for us, having Brock sap 1/3, he was just not providing value afterwards. Makes sense why all the deals with his prior students didn't work out either. Then now mid-2019, where a whole year had passed, where both Frank and I tested other ventures until Frank came back to me again and convinced me to launch something new. So we gave Brock the dreaded call, but there was no way I expected that call to go that dark. I gave Brock a call and we gave him the rundown. I'm like, hey bro, listen, after that first push, you're not providing us much value no more. So we gotta call it quits, brother. And this Brock guy, real jacked guy he was, I could hear his jaw muscles scrunch up on the other side of the call. And he yells, oh buddy, you MFs are in big trouble. From his agency days, he was a killer salesman. His weaving words with his persuasive and manipulative skills leading to us almost agreeing to go back to the 1/3 deal. But towards the end, we just said, hey bro, we're done. But that ending made him berserk. And he said, listen boys, soon y'all ain't gonna be worried about making money. Y'all gonna be worried about paying money to the lawsuits I'm gonna send your way. To be honest, we were kind of scared, but there was also a level of confusion where just 3 years ago when we started in his program, originally he was nothing like this. There was just something off about the guy. But regardless, still being a little burnt out from that whole process, we pushed with our own launch, but with no boost from Brock this time. To get the right aspects of the business in check, we struggled hard at first, but we pushed till we're in October of 2019. We took the first steps of building the program. Then, although we had the other core aspects like having an awesome speaker or facehead for the marketing, now taking on more of the role of the creator of the business, which for us was Frank, and having a sick marketing strategy brain, more of as the growth agency partner, which was my role, yet our core messaging and location of messaging was terrible. Where first we were seeing, okay, maybe Facebook ads might work, so we advertised there, until we saw a gap opening with this little known guy on, interestingly, YouTube, making ads like here in my Lamborghini, and Ty Lopez was popping off with YouTube ads. But not many others were figuring it out back in 2020, where there I saw a fat gap, a blue ocean, and on top of that, after testing many messaging angles, I hit this, where essentially I realized all the agency coaches were not only on the saturated Facebook ads, but they were also only marketing to people who already knew about Facebook ads and only telling that small group of people how to start a marketing agency. But my thought was, why don't I tap into a brand new TAM, total addressable market? And the next question was, how would I be able to do that? By educating people who don't know what Facebook ads is, but introducing a marketing concept which is also familiar enough that tasted like chicken, even if it wasn't chicken, and bringing them in. That market was, so the angle I took was having Frank say, hey, here's a simple business model that you know about, billboards. But do you know about online billboards, which don't have the cost of a physical billboard, right? Like Facebook ads, Google ads, and there's highway traffic as well, which are views on Facebook or Google. And if you sell these billboards to other business owners, then you'll make bank. And then boom, it started in October 2019 from nothing, zilch, nada. And then by January 2020, we hit almost $500,000, 400K. April 2020, we did 650K. And then by June 2020, we had done $1.7 million damn dollars in just 1 month. All because I applied deep first principle thinking on how I can tap into a larger TAM, presenting something new to the market. So for you guys in your business, think about how you can do the same. For insanely joyful numbers like these, but such insane joy didn't really last very long. Because after riding this wave till mid 2021, where I got a call back from Brock when I was at an agency owner and Coaches Summit event, and after speaking on stage, this big dude starts running at me and he says, "Hey bro, you stole millions from my brother." Then this buff dude, almost socking me in the process, just shoves the phone at me. And even though I'm a bit scared and shocked, I pick it up. And on the other side is this cracked up crazy guy saying, "Bro, listen, tonight is the day you die, brother. I got hitmen on you. It's over." Turns out It was actually who I, back in 2015, thought was my mentor and the one who raised me up to this point in the first place. Brock was on the other side. Now, after 2 years of seeing me grow past him, he had fallen into massive coke and steroid spree and was blaming his stagnancy on me instead of his addiction. And I was just like, man, you gotta chill, bro. Like, that's enough. Lame line, I know, but it ended up working because I didn't really hear from him from then on. Even your best mentors can turn into enemies. But even though I had fended off Brock towards the end of 2021, business began to fall because I had now tapped out the full market that the billboard's messaging could hit. Therefore, quick tip for you guys. I needed to now create a new messaging to hit a new audience, which was where my flipping leads messaging came from, where I talked about how running an SMMA agency was just like flipping a car or a house. But with houses, you buy it for, let's say, 100K and you sell it for 200K. Instead, with leads, you go to a chiropractor and you tell him, hey, pay me $5,000 and I'll get you $5,000 worth of leads. But then you go and get those $5,000 worth of leads for just $2,000, keeping you $3,000 in profit. And you do that every month, and you can do that with 10, 20 clients. And out of nowhere, we just created a new angle on describing the business model, and it just boomed it. Then from there, we went from 900K a month to 1.7 million a month. But after the whole of 2022, starting way back in 2019, running this train for 3 years, Frank, now in his mid-30s with a kid and a family to raise, knew it was time for him to move on, to wind down the course program. So we took our existing audience and we planned a new idea. What could we create that could create a recurring income for him to retire? And we built a CRM, a customer relations manager software, similar to Go High Level. We launched it, where we ended with now passively making $1 million a year from a software. With Frank now off to retirement sunset and me off to new ventures with other creator coaching programs. And speaking of which, back in 2019, I launched this huge fitness influencer, someone you probably have seen, where I learned how to take that business from doing just 20K a month to $400,000 per month. And I did that in just 8 months. So that whole story and key lessons I learned from it, which are a lot, are in this video. So I'll catch you guys there with more value. See you soon.